Wesley Nelson. Hello, first off, that is an absolutely fantastic name. I am obsessed with that. Wesley Nelson. Oh, that's incredible. Hello, it is Tom Pigram here, everybody's favourite. Wait, I did that wrong. Reverse. Tom Pigram here, the real life human person behind everyone's favourite electric train. Okay, right, now I've waffled long enough. Let's get down to business. Okay, so these are two fantastic questions. Oh, also, first off, thank you so much for your lovely message. Thank you so much for reaching out, and thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your support. It means a lot. And most importantly, thank you for these fantastic questions. Let's get talking. Oh, you know how much I love to waffle. Let's go. Okay, so what got me interested in performing in Starlight Express? Well, to be honest, I was training for musical theatre at the time, so just a little background, which I think you know because of your second question, but obviously I did my first 2 degrees and then I retrained into musical theatre, and then in my second year at musical theatre, which was at, I was training at Guildford School of Acting, some auditions came through for Starlight, and they'd reached out to the college and they'd asked us to send in self-tapes for a character that we thought we were right for. And I saw this Electra character and I saw their description, I saw they were being reimagined as non-binary, and I thought, oh, I need to get my hands on this role because this just seems so special, and I was just desperate to be a part of it. So I self-taped for it, and then on from there went and did all of the auditions. So really it was just kind of, it was just the opportunity arose at the right time. And it had been so special because I'd spent a lot of time at Performing Arts kind of diversifying my skill range and making sure I could do a whole range of things, just try and make myself as versatile as possible in this industry. But coming back to this kind of queer character was so special because that's really, obviously I myself am queer and have gone through my own gender journey, so the fact that it matched up with this queer character just felt so special, and I thought I really have got the kind of energy and the skill set and the experience to tackle this character in the best way, and I was very grateful that I've been given the opportunity to do that. And obviously Starlight Express is just this humongous, giant, incredible phenomenon of a musical, and to have the opportunity to work on it was just absolutely amazing. And to learn to skate, I mean, how lucky am I that I've had this opportunity to learn how to skate? Probably a skill I never would have come across in my life otherwise. So yes, that's how I got involved in Starlight Express. Now for the second question, let me pause and restart. What was it like to study LGBT plus and gender theory? It was amazing, to be honest. It was the longer I spent in literature, it became sort of my sole purpose in literature. It was my most favourite thing that I got to do while I was studying, and I'm very grateful for it. And I kind of just stumbled into it because I was, in my first year of my undergrad, we were encouraged to do an essay on critical theory, so to pick a kind of critical theory and dive into it. And I chose kind of, at the time, specifically kind of like gay theory, gay and lesbian studies. And then as I moved through my course and I developed as a person and I developed as a writer and as a theorist and an essayist, that kind of queer theory developed. So it moved from just kind of gay and lesbian studies into kind of gender studies, and then into queer theory more broadly. And then I landed on kind of trans studies, and that's obviously all connected, particularly with like gender theory, but that's kind of where what I did a lot for my masters. And a lot of the work I was doing was in the early modern period, so Shakespeare's period. And the kind of beauty about Shakespeare's time is that gender was thought of as very different. It was much less stable, discrete, binarily organised. It was much more dynamic, unstable, fluid, at points vulnerable. The body, which we tend to think of now as this kind of static, stable thing, in the early modern period was very vulnerable and in a constant dynamic transaction with its environment. And because of that, there was fear at points in the early modern period, and also it was often celebrated that the body could change. It was this fluid, changeable, unstable, dynamic, kind of messy ball of chaos. And so I started to think a lot about how that would affect gender, and the early moderns were also kind of anxious about how reading, the act of reading, might affect the body, and reading an effeminate text might effeminize the person. Is that a word? Effeminize? Feminize? Whatever, we can make up words here. And the beauty of all of that is that you get to dig into these classic texts and show that queer trans people have always existed, obviously much earlier than Shakespeare, predated Shakespeare, since the beginning of time. And actually that this is a relatively recent notion, this ridiculous insistence on binary, fixed gender dictated by biological sex, which, by the way, isn't a binary, as we all know. Biological sex is much more complicated than that, and it is a terrible oversimplification to split it into male and female. That doesn't exist. That's not real. Chromosomes are much more complicated than that. Anyway, and also, like you say, it's also about kind of expounding this model of, well, it's about allowing queer people to see themselves in older texts, which is incredibly validating. I found, also for me, it was just beautiful to do that work. And also to just expound on this model of gender queerness, which is just like so exciting, and if it exists in the Shakespeare, it should exist now as well, and it does. And people stepping into that, and people are experiencing that. We just need the rest of the world to catch up. So yes, it was very, very exciting work, and I had the best time doing it. And one of the best things about it is that I got to use all of it when it came to working on and thinking about Electra, which was incredibly exciting. And yes, you're absolutely right. People deserve to be happy about themselves. People deserve to be seen. People deserve to be understood, and people deserve most of all to feel really happy in themselves and to be present and powerful, and I think that is really what Electra stands for. So yes, thank you so much, Wesley, for your incredible questions. It's been so lovely to have this chat with you. I hope that answered everything. Speak to you very soon. Bye. Oh, a little zap before I go. Bye.